to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth. Happy Tuesday, post-Labor Day weekend. Hopefully everyone had a relaxing or at least enjoyable day off from whatever your normal Monday looks like. My husband and I had fun mountain biking, as we do on every Monday we have off from work or something like that. It is Tuesday, September 3rd. Happy birthday to my little nephew, Walter. He's growing up so fast. Today is a special day on the Coffee Hour. It's September. It's back to school season. Hopefully, well, I don't know about hopefully, but everyone's probably back into their fall routines, back to school, including our college students. And if you were listening before the break, you heard that spot from Pastor Zill about LCMS U and campus ministry. Well, we get to talk to two of our LCMS U chapters. One here in St. Louis. We'll get to talk to our chapter out of my home church that serves students at Washington University in St. Louis in the second half. And then in the first half, we get to talk to the LCMS U chapter in Pittsburgh, a pastor that I know from way back from my high school days. So that'll be a good time. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for your support of the Coffee Hour. You can find out more about them at cuw.edu. Live Uncommon. Joining me by phone today is Pastor Eric Andrae from First Trinity Lutheran Church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and also the LCMS U chapter serving the greater Pittsburgh area. Welcome, Pastor Andrae. Thanks for joining me today.
Sarah, it's great to be with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was good to see you over the summer, too, randomly dropping in on Pittsburgh. But you have a unique place there in Pittsburgh. You serve more than just one university, don't you? Tell me a little bit about the general area around Pittsburgh where you serve.
Yeah, so you might call us a town and gown setting. We have, a regular congregational ministry with a full-time parish pastor. But then I serve as a full-time campus pastor. We are within walking distance of the University of Pittsburgh, Pitt, and Carnegie Mellon, CMU, are both about a 10 to 15-minute walk away. Then we have Carlow and Chatham, two smaller schools that I call European walking distance. They're about a 25-minute walk away or a short ride. And then we have about a 10-minute ride, Duquesne University, Point Park University, and then we also have the community college. And we have students from all those schools, chiefly Pitt and CMU because of their size and proximity, but as I said, we serve many schools.
That is a wide range of different students from different universities and different backgrounds. How large is your chapter of LCMS U?
Well, that's a good question. How to measure that? I mean, there are those students because we have kind of different categories and unofficial different categories of students. There are those who are here, every Sunday for worship, divine service, every Wednesday evening for our student Bible study dinner and compline. Then we have students who maybe just come to worship. Then we have students who maybe just come to the Bible study. Then we have our English as a second language students who come to the class and that Bible study especially geared towards international students. Then there are students that I serve through other programs. There's a program that I've been a part of called the Christian Studies Program, which creates a virtual minor in theology at the schools, and that draws students from a wide variety of Christian backgrounds and even non-Christian. And then there's just students that I've developed relationships with over my nearly 20 years in campus ministry, that just by being visible on campus and speaking at other groups, and so I have a pastoral relationship with those. They may actually never darken these doors, but I get together with them, once or twice a semester just to see how life's going, to help them deal with crises. So it's hard to measure. I would say we have, in a typical year, we have about 30 to 40 that come to worship or Bible study regularly. And then all those other students, I didn't mention, I'm also the chaplain for the pre-med hospice volunteer program at Pitt, and that draws in another 20 to 25 students, about half of which are Christian and half not, and I meet with them 5 times a year at least, the group, and then sometimes individually. So counting all of those other students, the ESL and the hospice and the other groups that I meet with, that's probably probably doubles or triples that number. Mm-hmm. So probably 30 to 40 that 30 to 50 that identify themselves strongly with the LCMS U chapter, and then at least another 50, maybe another 75 or 100 that I have, a regular pastoral relationship with.
Yeah, that's such an expansive, different set of ways that you and the congregation are able to reach out into these college campuses. It's not just worship and Bible study on Sunday morning. There's so many other opportunities to interact with these college students and to really bring the gospel of Jesus to them. Tell me a little bit more about those other ways outside of Sunday morning church and Bible study that you and the congregation are able to reach out to these college students.
Yeah, well, like I said, we have this, I can mention a few things. We have this pre-med hospice volunteer program, and that connects undergraduate pre-med students with the local hospital and hospice care program, and then they come here for lunch, for hospitality, and for time with me to kind of process the spiritual dimensions of death and dying. And we host that, and the congregation hosts that, and the congregation is very welcoming in that way. I mentioned the Christian Studies program. As I said, that's something that I was asked to be a part of at its inception about 7-8 years ago. And that tries to really stimulate and put forth the intellectual tradition of Christian thought and civilization with seminars, with connecting the students with Christian faculty to help them process classes that may have something directly or indirectly to do with Christianity. And our students have been involved with that as well in conferences and things like that. We're on campus a lot, the students and I. We go table. So we have an officially recognized student organization at Pitt and at CMU, and those officers of those student organizations help me on campus to table. We call it tabling, whether it's at an activities fair. Something that we've done in the last few years that's been very successful is Ash Wednesday tabling. We go and we bring prayer and the imposition of ashes on campus, right in the dorms or the student union or the cafeteria, and we get up to 100 folks, 100 students, even staff that stop by and receive prayer and imposition of ashes, and of course an invitation to join us for Lenten and Easter services. Mm-hmm. So those are just a few of many ways. We're having a film and faith class that we've advertised on campus. Where we have a local noted film enthusiast, a member of our parish. Well, he just transferred to church closer to his home, but an LCMS member. He's teaching that class, and we've advertised that to the film club on campus, and we're hoping for a good turnout for that beginning later this month. So many opportunities and many ways we seek to engage both on and off campus here at the church, as well as wherever the students might find themselves.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned you've been doing this for 20 years, doing campus ministry. What is the impact of a campus ministry like this on the students that are being able to interact with the campus ministry while they're in this different situation in college, in this area, in this time of their life?
Well, in their own words and in what I've seen, it's life-changing. There are so many worthy missions out there, both domestic and international, but I can't think of a mission. I cannot think of a domestic mission that is more important than campus ministry. We are engaging students at a time where the faith is often either lost or gained or hopefully sustained, and where these young men and women, in a sense, become who they will be forever. Vocationally, in terms of relationships, often finding their future spouse, and certainly spiritually, in terms of having many of them maybe having grown up in the faith. Is this something that now they're going to, so to speak, own? Is this going to be something they personally appropriate? And then those who have never heard of the faith. We have hundreds, if not thousands of international students here in Pittsburgh. Carnegie Mellon University, with a student body of about 14,000, 42% of those 14,000 are international students representing well over 100 countries. And so our ESL program, English as a Second Language, engages them with volunteer teachers from the parish and volunteer childcare and so on. So, we are catching them at a crucial time because they're also being challenged, of course. I serve at secular universities, and I don't see them as adversaries, but let's face it, they are being tested in the crucible of so many isms that counter the message that we're trying to give in terms of a Christian worldview, whether it's evolution or views on gender and sexuality or scientism as a kind of almost a God that is the only source of knowledge. So we're engaging them on these topics and helping them to think through them, live through them, pray through them, worship them, and give them a community of brothers and sisters to bring them to the faith, bring them to the font, sustain them in that faith given to them in baptism, and sustain them in that through preaching the Lord's Supper. So I can't think of a mission that's more crucial. It affects, and all the things that are being debated in society and in the church, we've been debating them in campus ministry often 10, 15 years previous. I can see what's coming. I can see what's coming to the public square because it's already been on the quad. We've already been talking about it for, like I said, 10, 15 years. So it's and I love it. I mean, I think it's energizing for me. It's exciting, and it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, yeah. You mentioned the community that this builds. What does that community look like with these students from across all nationalities even? What does that community look like when you bring all these students together for campus ministry?
Yeah, I mean, it's really centered around the Word and Sacrament. So I tell the students beginning of every year and throughout that the main thing is come on Sunday morning, be gathered by the Spirit around God's Word and Sacraments. Break bread together. Mealtime is underrated. It's not just free food. It's a time for conversation, a time to kind of, take a breath and find a refuge and a haven in our midweek student meal, and then again to be gathered around the Word and study, and then to pray together in Compline. And I think that builds a cohesion. What I've seen so beautifully is friendships, marriages that have grown out of our student ministry because of the community. And what I especially love to see is when students, are doing, I plan things in the officers. We plan, organized events, social activities, whether it's going to a baseball game or going apple picking or a hayride or what have you. But the students themselves, develop those kind of relationships. And for life, again, life-changing. And it's really beautiful. Last year, a couple of graduate students came to me and said, we would like to start a mentoring program where incoming freshmen can be paired up with seniors or graduate students and mentored in what it is to be a Christian on a college campus. And so that's something we're starting this year, and we've already paired up a couple folks. And, it's just exciting to see them kind of take ownership of that and help to develop that community that the Spirit is forming, that the Spirit is really giving. We just have to enter it. The life of the church is here. Life together is here. And I see the students entering it and living it, and it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Pastor Eric Andrae, pastor of First Trinity Lutheran Church, the LCMS U chapter there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for joining me on the coffee hour this morning.
Hey, thanks, Sarah. Take care.
Coming up just after the break, we'll talk with another LCMS U chapter right here in St. Louis. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Golseth.